I've never been one to tell someone what they should and should not believe. I'm a highly spiritualized person. I do not believe in organized religion, but if you want to follow Christianity, go to town. If you want to follow Judaism, go to town. Islam, go to town. Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever you want to believe, I don't really care. Even if you're an atheist, I do not care. I do not believe that people come to experience the human experience in the same way, and therefore we will all have different beliefs. We will all have different experiences, and there is purpose to every single type of experience. So believe what you want to believe. I don't care. I'm going to tell you this, though. If you don't have some sort of purpose in your life, if you don't have some sort of moral code that you live by, if you don't have something guiding your behaviors, you are rife to get sucked into this social justice nonsense. You really are. You're setting yourself up, man. And again, I don't believe that necessarily a moral code needs to come from something like the Bible. I don't have something like the Bible, and yet I live by a very distinct moral code. I believe that I'm you, you're me. We all come from the same place. We all come from God. We're all little pieces of God that broke off from the larger energy to come down to earth and to have this human experience so that we could understand different types of experiences on a really organic level and to convey that information back up. That's what I believe. So I believe the way that I treat you is a reflection of how I'm treating myself. And that if I treat you badly, karma's going to come right around and bite me in the butt. I don't need the Bible to tell me that. That's what I believe. Same reason that I don't think that atheists need to believe in God or need to believe in the Bible or any of these holy books to have some sort of moral code that they live by, a philosophical code, if you will. I think all those things are fair game. But when you don't have that, when you don't have some sort of higher set of belief systems, higher set of principles, you are setting yourself up to get sucked into some sort of belief system that is going to give you that direction. And the reason I bring this up is that last night, based on this tweet from Robbie Starbuck that I saw bright and early this morning, Chris Cuomo went on CNN and told people they didn't really need to believe in God. Let's listen, shall we? Let's listen to what Chris Cuomo had to say.
If you believe in one another, and if you do the right thing for yourself and your community, things will get better in this country. You don't need help from above. It's within us. CNN tonight.
You don't need help from above. It's within us. Now, I'm going to throw Chris Cuomo a bone in that I believe fundamentally that we are all God, and therefore, yeah, it is within us in that theoretical sense. But I would never go to the step to say, you don't need what's up there. We all need a higher belief system. We all do. This is from Jordan Peterson's website, and he writes, Nietzsche believed that the death of God would produce cataclysmic upheavals in the Western world, including, as he prophesied in Will to Power, the death of millions at the hands of utopian communism. Fancy that. God is dead, and the hole he left behind is a vacuum in the human soul filled carelessly and dangerously by ideology, motivated by intellectual inertia, arrogance, resentment, and deceit. Sounds a whole lot like social justice, doesn't it? It sounds a whole lot like social justice, what they're trying to do. And so Chris Cuomo has a very vested interest in convincing you that you don't need that higher set of belief systems, because if he and other people that are trying to push this insane authoritarian ideology, they need you not to believe in that sort of higher power, because what they want to do is convert you and indoctrinate you into this non-theistic religion. And this is a religion. Listen, we're going to look at a portion of this article about social justice as a religion. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I will link it in the description below so you can go and read it yourself. But there are some points that I think are really appropriate for this discussion. Defining religion is tough because there's no explicit quality that defines them, but they share a broad range of features which bind them conceptually. They are meaning-making structures which help us make sense of things we find chaotic or don't understand. Religious communities are organized around adoption and promulgation of certain moral principles. They have scripture, which conveys doctrine and ideology. They focus on moral purity. They focus on the in-group. They demonize the out-group. And they demonize and excommunicate blasphemers. They impart a sense of control, if not actual control, over uncontrollable circumstances. Social justice has all this stuff. There are many important additional parallels. Religions have a tendency to identify everything good with God. So when a religious person hears an atheist say they don't believe in God, the religious person has a tendency to hear that to mean that they don't believe in good. Now, on that point, I'm going to disagree with this article. Listen, in my belief system, there is no good, there is no bad, there simply is experience. And so this is fundamentally talking about religion. I follow a more spiritual path. It's much more open. I'm not going to go into it in the course of this video, but it's a much less judgmental path than I think a lot of religions promote. So I do take issue with that point, but most of the other things they get right. Let's continue. Social justice followers react the same way. When someone questions their equity-driven approach to equality, that's hate speech. That is a fair point well made. Religious thinkers invent their own epistemologies in such a manner that their religious teachings are unfalsifiable. The social justice approach to this is called standpoint epistemology and finds its roots in cultural postmodernism. If you and I disagree, that's because we come from different standpoints. Therefore, you cannot falsify my claim because you lack my standpoint. This is the social justice adaptation of God put the dinosaur bones there. The lexicon. There are a wide range of direct adaptations which form a kind of lexicon. In religion, an idea is heretical if the idea goes contrary to the indoctrinated narrative, or if its promulgation may undermine portions of the narrative even unintentionally. Galileo was convicted of heresy not because he was intending to undermine the Catholic Church with heliocentrism, but purely because that scientific fact created problems for the Church's narrative. The social justice analogy to heretical teachings are things they find problematic. In religion, blasphemy is the act of speaking against doctrine, and apostates must be shunned or excommunicated. The social justice analog to this is political correctness, which serves precisely the same function. In religion, we have original sin, which is something people are born with, for which they must atone by adopting the indoctrinations of their religion or be shunted to the outgroup. It acts as an evangelicalism pressure tactic, a means of drawing in-group boundaries and a means of behavioral control through institutional shame. Non-atoners are shunted to the outgroup and attacked. The social justice analog to this is privilege, which again serves the exact same functions. In religion, we have church, which is a gathering place where heresy and blasphemy is prohibited for conveyance and discussion of the indoctrinations themselves. In social justice, we have safe spaces, which are by function simply censorship zones where certain opinions cannot be expressed. In religion, we have born again, which is an indoctrination that atonement for original sin has been made before peers. An individual has been officially moved from the outgroup to the in-group by accepting the indoctrinations. The social justice analog to this is woke. And I could go on, and again, I strongly encourage you to go and read the whole article, but the thing of it is, listen, you gotta watch out for this stuff. You really do. This is a news anchor making what seems to be an off-the-cuff comment that no, you really don't need to believe in God, but mark my words, we're going to be seeing more and more and more and more of this. I firmly believe that, listen, I don't care if you're an atheist. I really don't. I don't care. I think that there's absolute value in experiencing atheism and having that be your belief system, or lack of belief system rather, in this lifetime. I don't care. But I fundamentally believe that human beings are spiritual beings, And I think that, it's always so easy for me to tell when someone is disconnected from God, source, the one true energy, whatever you want to call it. It is so easy for me to tell because they wear it all over their face. They look old. They look significantly older than their years. I look at some of these protesters. These protesters are 10, 15, some of them 20 years younger than me, and they look older than me. Why? Why? These children, and yes, I'm going to call them children, they haven't even begun to live life yet, but they don't have any connection to anything that is bigger than themselves. And because they don't have that connection, life is going to be a struggle. That's the next thing I notice about people who are not connected to that higher power. They struggle so much more in life. Maybe it's because they don't believe in some sort of larger plan or larger purpose. I don't know what it is, but they tend to struggle, and because they tend to struggle, they tend to be a whole lot angrier. I've noticed in the time that I've been kind of taken in by the conservatives, one of the things that is so pronounced to me is that conservatives are so much happier. They really are. They are just happier people all around. They're much more pleasant to be around. I might not agree with them on everything, but man, much more happy, much more pleasant to be around. And part of that, I believe, is that they tend to be people who have beliefs. Maybe I don't share those beliefs, but they have much more of a connection than people that I'm seeing on the left out at all these protests that are angry about absolutely everything. And you have to notice people on the left too, they constantly need to feed that anger. They need to feed this religion. They need to feed this cult because they're not getting their meaning, their higher purpose from anything else. And I think it's sad. It's sad to me. And it's one of those things that this sounds so condescending, and I understand that, but I hope they grow out of it. I really do. I don't know if they will, but there is part of me that says that these truths at some point are undeniable as a human being. You might not know exactly what it is, but I think we all have that little feeling inside of us that we are a part of something larger. And we really have one of two choices. We can either deny that feeling, we can deny that innate part of ourselves, in which case we're going to be angry and constantly looking for ways to feed that anger because of the dissonance that's going to create. Or we can accept that and explore it and try to figure it out and try to figure out how that integrates into our lives. And frankly, I think that, I wasn't raised with religion. I was not raised with religion at all. I was actually a black sheep in my family, my brother and I, because everyone else was Catholic, everyone else was baptized, everyone else went to church. I wanted so desperately to go to church when I was a kid, simply because I wanted to be like everyone else, and that seemed to be something that everyone else did, and we just didn't do that. So I wasn't raised with this. This was something I came to later in life. And so I absolutely believe that there is hope for so many of these kids to come to this as well, because I do think it is just an undeniable truth. And once you discover it, and again, whatever your own brand of spirituality is, once you discover it, you add a whole new layer of meaning to your experience. And I think that meaning is important, and that larger philosophical moral code that comes with it is incredibly important to living a fully empowered, fulfilling experience. So people should not listen to Chris Cuomo, but I'm sure many of us anyway, already knew that. All right, folks, that's what I've got for this video. Just a little philosophical rambling, I suppose. One thing I want to say is if you enjoy my content, if you enjoy what I'm doing here, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, turn on those notifications, all that good stuff. The other thing I want to encourage you to do is, if you haven't already, come on, man, it's time to join Parler. Listen, I'm really trying to get the heck off of Twitter. I think Twitter is an absolute cesspool. I hate it. And I'm really working on building my audience on Parler. So I encourage you to join Parler. It's so fun right now. It is. Parler right now is like what Twitter was like 10, 15, Twitter's not 15 years old, but 10 years ago, like when Twitter first got started, that's what Parler is like now. It's fun. It's nice. There's not, the mobs aren't there. Oh my God, it's so much more peaceful than Twitter. So give me a follow. I'm at Carlin on Parler. It's just my first name. It's in this video somewhere. If you follow me, just like echo one of the things I've tweeted or add a comment or something. I don't even know the terminology yet, but if you do that, let me know you came from this video. I'll give you a follow back, and we can start to have conversations over on Parler where it's just much nicer and peaceful, and we won't get censored or banned or anything else stupid that Twitter is trying to do. So I strongly recommend it. Parler is really, really awesome right now, and so let's continue to build out the community. All right, folks, that's all I've got for this time, and I'll see you again very, very soon.